Hi and welcome to episode 2 of Kingdom Business TV. I'm your host Wez Hone, and for the next half an hour we're going to be talking about how to do business from kingdom perspective. And so my aim here is that we're going to take some calls and get some of that coaching going on, get some of those real hard questions. I'll do a little bit of teaching, and we'll talk about some scripture and generally all round have a little bit of fun. So, all right. What am I going to do? What am I doing this for? I'm still trying to set the stage with you guys about what Kingdom Business TV is. If you've been around our world a little while, you'll know we used to do Business Greenhouse TV, and it was great. It was a static show. People supplied questions, but there was no interaction with the callers. And so, you know, we're kind of doing it differently and doing it better, trying to bring you more value. So we're also going to do some interviews on here from time to time. When I meet Kingdom business people who are actually out there doing it, I'm going to invite them on here and we're going to interview them. And my whole goal, right, is I want to arm you and equip you with the stuff that's going to help you. You know, one of my own secret crazy agendas is that, you know, there are so many well-meaning Christians in business and they're going to the world for wisdom. And it really, really cuts me, you know. And so I'm not saying the world can't supply any wisdom, but when we hang our hat on everything they say, then we run the risk of missing God's best for us. So I'm going to try and bring you stuff that really, really makes a difference from a biblical perspective. And if that means bringing people in, we're going to do that. We'll get some interviews, we'll get the knowledge of all these people, and we'll get that into your hands as best we can. So that's the initiative. That is Kingdom Business TV. And my goal is to do it, love it, and connect with you really well. Scripture of the day, right? Every single show we're going to lead off with scripture, because at the end of the day, we are ambassadors from heaven here to do our tasks. For us, that's build businesses. For other people, it's different domains. But we need to be able to take scripture and take instruction from the Lord and put it into the context of business, right? That's where we're going to get our best out of that. So I just randomly pick stuff and teach it. The stuff that really speaks to me is the stuff I'm going to be teaching. So today's scripture, Proverbs 21:5, goes like this. It's a nice short one. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty, right? The plans of the diligent lead to profit as sure as haste leads to poverty. Now, here's an interesting thing that I see, right? Obviously, I get to meet lots and lots and lots of business people across the faith, different denominations, different sizes. Some people starting out, some people doing hundreds of millions, and everybody in between. And I get to see the behavior and the character. And, you know, for me, I personally believe that character is the deciding factor on how far you build a kingdom business, right? When I read scripture, it wasn't the most skilled people that had the biggest assignments. It's not the most skilled people or the most articulate people that we read about as our heroes in the faith. It's people that decided to become more like the Lord in their character, and that's what they go. So I like to look at this mindset, behavior thing and try to teach it to you, because I think it's probably the biggest leverage point to our success. So the plans of the diligent lead to profit. So here's my question. Are you able to show me a plan for you, for your business, for your life, for your family? And let's just go with business for a minute. Are you able to show me a detailed plan of 5 years out from today? Are you able to show me a detailed plan 2 years out, 1 year out, 90 days out? See, I don't think you can call yourself diligent if you don't have that kind of documented plan. Where are you going? Know your outcome, right? If you don't know your outcome, you'll hit it every day, right? You'll just meander through life, and some days will be good and some days not so good, and you'll get to the end and go to heaven. But if you know your outcome, if you know exactly what you're aiming for and you go chase that thing down, then it'll produce a better result. You'll be happier, and you can call yourself diligent. And like for me in my world, I was just showing the team before, like I write my short-term goals down every single day, right? People go, that's crazy. Is your memory that bad? No, it's not about my memory. It's about the process. I want to hold them to the front of my mind, and that's how we're going to get outcome, right? So I don't run a diary per se, right? I run a big empty notebook, and I scribble all the way through it, and then I file it, get another one, and just keep going. So, and I've probably got, I don't know, there'd be 50 of these stacked up in my bookshelf of old. I love going through my old notes. You get to see how far you've come, because you see how many ideas you used to come up with that were terrible, and at the time you thought they were great. So it's a really good way to see how you're learning. But for example, like I write mine down all the time, right? So I literally just do a brain dump, right? There's my goals for the day. Go back here. There's my goals for the day. Back here, goals for the day. And interestingly, they won't mean anything to you. Let me just check if I've got no sensitive information that's going to... I kind of do, so we'll be quick. So this won't mean anything. Don't worry about this down here. But here's just what I mean, right? Just very quickly, in the moment, as I wrote down my goals that day, which was the 26th or the 10th, I quickly came up with an idea on something I hadn't thought about on how to achieve it. And so by writing it down every day, these new thoughts come, and they allow me to, go, oh, that's a really good idea. I'm going to do that. And all that's doing is helping me get towards the goals that I want for my business. So the plans of the diligent lead to profit, right? You need to start planning out your business, planning out your day's activities, your week's activities, your month, your quarter, and so forth. You need to have plans. That's what pulls you through the bad days. That's what holds you on course to achieving your outcome, right? But it goes on to say, the plans lead to the plans of the diligent lead to profit, surely as. So equal to the fact that haste leads to poverty. Haste. What does that look like in a business setting? Do you know how many people I meet who are trying to be the business person, and they're doing deals every 5 seconds, chopping and changing where they're going, and they basically create this perception that they are, got all these deals on the go and everything's going well. But the truth is it's haste, right? They're trying to shortcut the journey, right? They're trying to do deals they shouldn't be doing. They're borrowing money from this person to go and do a deal with this person, hoping that it pays off. They're just trying to shortcut the journey, and it's just not a smart move. Everybody now, there's planning out growth, smart move. Haste is when people are like on the spot. Quickly do this deal, quickly do that deal. Make this quick decision on some massive growth in their business, right? That leads to poverty. The people that I meet that start new initiatives don't finish any of them. Right? We've only got a finite amount of capacity, right? So it just ends up leading to poverty because they're chasing. Listen, you've probably heard me say, if you've been around our world, if not, you need to understand that man who chases 2 rabbits catches none, right? Picture yourself, there's 2 rabbits, you got a little pen, you got to go catch 2, right? You're going to catch none of them. You need to be diligent, thought through, and plan through your progress, and then you win. The people that I know that look on the outside like they're going slow because they're following a plan outperform the people that look on the outside like they're killing it and hustling and they go nowhere, okay? Because all those ideas end up chewing out all their time and they don't stick to the core thing that actually builds their business and makes them some money. All right, Craig, we've got somebody on the line. Why don't we get a bit of a call coming through and do a little bit of coaching? That would be super cool. Do we know who we've got? Michelle.
Michelle speaking.
Michelle, it's Wez Hone. You're on Kingdom Business TV.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you going?
I am perfect. Hey, Michelle, what's your question?
So, I just wanted to ask, as a sole trader and a small business owner, how does one build credibility and get a following when you're new and starting out in a saturated marketplace?
Great question. It's tough. I think the short answer is it's going to take time, right?
Okay.
Why don't you give me an idea of what kind of client would you want to be pushing your stuff into? Who's an ideal client for you?
Ideal client is corporate, so wanting to get into corporate leadership training, and individuals as well that want to grow their leadership capacity.
Great. Choose one of those 2.
I probably would start with individuals.
Great. So what I'd be suggesting to you, Michelle, is you sit down and work out an avatar, like build out exactly what your client looks like, their interests, their brands, their hobbies, that sort of thing. You need to get really, you need to fall in love with that ideal client and get intimate in what you know about them.
Okay.
You're in a B2B environment, right? And I don't go much in for B2B because people buy products and services. So B2B, B2C is a bit of a misnomer because it's always people that buy. So, but however, where are those people going to be in saturation? If you had said corporates, I would have said you need to start running LinkedIn ads and get in front of everybody you possibly can. The fact that you said individuals means that we can play on a better platform than LinkedIn. We can play on something like Facebook, okay? Facebook is the ultimate. So here's what I would be doing if I were you. The mistake that most people make, right, when it comes to building that brand awareness or that just even letting people know you exist, right? You might have heard the old business mantra that people buy from people they trust. It's not true.
Yeah.
People buy from people they know, like, and trust, which means before they ever trust you, they need to know who you are. And so people are trying to pitch products and services when their awareness or their brand is too small. So I think you've got to slow this journey down and spend all of your effort getting as many people as you can to know you, and then turn the awareness into sales. So obviously social media is phenomenal for that. So if it were me, here's what I would do if I were you. I would produce a video every single day, right? For the next forever, right? And until such time as you've got so many clients that you max out your time. I would produce, and you call it what you want, like a Michelle minute, a minute with Michelle, or you know, if the leadership coaching is all around change management, then you know, a chapter of change, right? Just come up with a name and start putting out content through every channel you can. Take the same video, put it on Facebook, put it on Insta if it's short enough, put it on LinkedIn, you know, and just start to build that and engage with those people, right? So when somebody likes it or when somebody comments, thank them, write them back. You would know that that's what I do, right? Every single time somebody comments on one of my videos, I comment back. Every single time, don't miss one, because I want to build that depth in the relationship. That's how you're going to do it. Now, what happens is, over a period of time, you know, you put out videos. The mistake most people make is they're trying to put out 1, 2, or 3 videos and hit it out of the park, right? That's about as smart as expecting an entire baseball career to be, you know, built around 3 swings at the ball. It never happens. You get out there and you swing at it so many times and some will go out of the park. How does that apply to business when it comes to content? You're never going to produce 1, 2, or 3 videos that are absolutely amazing that set the world on fire and go viral. You just won't. What's going to happen is you're going to put out heaps of stuff, right? Because everything's forgotten about in 3 minutes, right? You produce the most amazing video, it's forgotten tomorrow by your audience because they've got 9 other videos that are amazing. So you've got to be consistent in putting out the content. And what will happen is one of those will pop. And it may not be the one that you thought it was going to be, or it may be, but by putting out a lot of quantity, at some point the market are going to start to realize, and then they're going to take one of those pieces and it's going to go semi-viral. And then when it does, you can spend money on that piece, amplify it, and get more people to see it because the market told you they like it, okay? And then once you've built some credibility, you ask people, comment, like, and share my videos. When you're giving people value, in return, you can say, share this video, and they will, some will. And then, of course, you start to get that viral following, you know. And this is what we did as a company, and it, you know, it took us from 1,000 to 10,000 followers just by putting out content, spending money on the bits that the market told us they like because they commented and shared a lot of it. And but it's a long-term game, right? The only way to shorten down the game is to be consistently putting out good content. So what I'd be doing if I were you is when this call hangs up, I'd be going to get your notepad, go and get your paper, and write down 50 short ideas that you can teach on, and then start teaching. Okay, start putting that stuff out. Get a camera, get a microphone, get 2 lights, and you're away. And it's consistency, and what you've got to be prepared for is the first 10 videos get like 93 views and 73 views and 4 likes and 19 likes. You've got to, this is where most people go, that's not going to get me anything. No, we all had that when we started, right? We all had that. You've got to be prepared to get through that stage where no one is watching, to build up, you know, the virality so that lots of people are watching. It's the only way. You can't launch with a big following unless you've already got a massive database from past. It just won't happen. You won't get there.
Okay.
Good to talk to you, Michelle. You're awesome.
Thank you.
See ya. So let's line up another caller, Craig. But you know what? That's, you know, this awareness thing is like a massive thing for me, right? Because I literally believe in the world that we're living in now with social media, you know, how it is. I literally believe that in the next 12 to 18 months, somebody will dominate the top of mind real estate for every business in every area, right? So you'll be able to walk down the street in Southport on the Gold Coast and ask 100 people, name me a plumber, and the majority of them will say one. Name me a hairdresser, the majority will say the same one. Okay? That top of mind real estate is worth an absolute fortune. The way you get there is by putting out lots and lots and lots and lots of content and flood the market. That's what I'm doing here, and that's what you should be doing for your business. All right, who we got? Bummy.
Hello.
Is that Bummy?
Yes, it is.
Bummy, it's Wez Hone, and you're on Kingdom Business TV.
Wow. How are you, Wez?
I am good, but more importantly, how are you?
I'm very well. It's exciting time, and congratulations on the birth of the Kingdom Business TV.
Mate, I appreciate your words. Hey, listen, what's your question? What can I answer for you?
All right, good. This is a question that I come across a whole lot, and I've tried to. I know every business person, especially in the kingdom, we've got our stories and how we believe God is concerned, the journey and our call to business. But I know a few people who out there struggle with knowing what it is that they're actually meant to be doing at any point in time. I know there are people who are in business today who perhaps could be better taking up a 2IC or 3IC job in Facebook, for instance, or Google or something like that. And I also know of people who are in paid employment who should be better off doing the business. How does one actually know that you're called to business, and particularly from a kingdom or a Christian viewpoint?
Yeah, cool.
How do you know God is calling you to business? Because I know success, they say, leaves clues.
Cool. All right, so there's two parts to that question, the call to business and the will of the Lord in any moment, right? So let me answer those. The call to business is an interesting one because there are certainly people in business now that are probably not called to business. There's fewer of those than I think, and there'd be some people that are in an employment job that are called to business. Here's the thing for me. I mean, when I get somebody who's got that burning question inside of them, the first question I ask them is, what percentage of your day do you think about being in business, right? And they'll be like, when was the last time you sat and dreamed about starting your own business? And if they say 2 Tuesdays ago, it's over, right? They're not passionate. They're probably not called to business. When somebody says to me, I can't stop thinking about being in my own business, it's every thought, I have so many ideas, I'm like, that's a big tick for me. The second question I ask these people is, when they're in front of me, I say, right, if I said you absolutely have to make a decision right now and you've only got this one decision for the rest of your life, you're going to take a job in a business for the rest of your life, or you're going to start your business for the rest of your life, and you have to choose and you can never change, which one would you choose? If they go the job, that tells me they want security, which means they're not going to be a great entrepreneur. If they say, I'll roll the dice and start a business and make it work, then they're probably called to business, right? I just force their big decision down into a moment, and it's an indicator of what they're thinking, right? They'll either back themselves or they won't. And so that's kind of like the way I go. Now, what the other part of the question that you asked is, how do you know the will of the Lord in any moment is kind of like my paraphrasing of what you said. That all that comes down to, I mean, Scripture says, my sheep hear my voice, right? So we need to fully understand that we hear God if we choose to. I think we just simply need to spend more time with the Lord asking, right? Show me pictures, show me visions, and confirm it to me. For me, when I feel the Lord saying do something, I would love to think that I'm at the point where I can hear the word of the Lord and just go. And yes, that's the same for me on, I reckon 80% of decisions when I hear the voice of the Lord, I go. I still think there's 20 where I'm a bit like Gideon, where I'm like, hey, actually, can you show me a little sign here? And then, I mean, not so much like Gideon, because Gideon was just selfish. When the Lord showed him a miracle, he's like, hang on a minute, can you show me another one? And actually, can you show me another one? So Gideon second-guessed himself too much. But, whether they should be a 2IC business owner, work for somebody else, like where they should be in the moment, you know what? I don't think you can get it wrong, personally. I think you spend time with the Lord, you feel out what you think the Lord is saying, and then you move. And when you move, let's say, we've got 4,000 weeks, we've got 80 years or 100 years for life. If you decide, no, the Lord's called me to be a 2IC, you go and get a job as a 2IC, and 6 months later you realize you got it wrong, so what? Right? Change it. Go start your business, right? If you start a business and you realize you don't like it, close it down, go get a job, right? Like, none of these things are final. The only thing that's final is when we go to heaven, and that's going to be great, right? Until then, we can afford to make lots of mistakes and buffer, right? Choose, do it for a while. The Lord, I don't like this anymore, or it's not where I'm called to be, change it, go do something else. That's the beauty of this thing. So I don't think you can really get it wrong. I think the only way you can really get it wrong is spend your life trying to go around in circles making an indecision, right? Because an indecision is a decision by default. So by not making a decision, you're making a decision. I think that the smartest thing you can do when you're unsure is pick a door, open it, walk through it, and see what happens.
Good.
Well, Bumi, you are awesome, and it's great to talk to you.
Thank you. Same here, and that was awesome. And once again, wish you all the best, and we'll see you soon.
Bless you, mighty man. Yeah, so going a bit deep there in the old theology. Hey, listen, if you've got a question for the show, in the comments below, why don't you let me know you've got a question, right? Either put your question there or say, I've got a question and one of my team will reach out to you and we'll get you on the show, because at the end of the day, I want to be answering your questions because you're the people that I'm here to serve as best as I possibly can. So if you've got a question, make sure you do that. We'll have another caller in a minute, but I want to teach something for the next kind of 5 minutes. One of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of people make is I think we should fall in love with our customer, right? And not many people do. Like, a lot of business people still hold their customers at arm's length. They're a profit center. I'm like, no. They're the people that are going to take you on a wild journey for a long period of time, right? So we've got to fall in love with our customer for a few reasons. Firstly, it builds authenticity. Like, if you've been around our world long enough, you would see enough of the training. I love you guys. Whether you're watching from a distance, whether you're attending our events, whether you're in our little world, I love our customers. I love our clients. I love the people that we're training, right? Love them. And I sign off my webinars saying I love it. Like, maybe it's a little bit weird for some, but it's authentic, right? I dead set do love you guys. And sometimes I love people enough that I won't tell them the truth. I won't confirm their truth. I'll tell them the real truth, but I won't fluff them up. And sometimes I love them enough that I encourage them, just whatever's needed, but it all comes out of a heart of love. But a lot of people don't love their customer. And I think it's a massive mistake, because they're the people that are going to be paying you for the rest of the time, right? If you've got a big dream of building a legacy and funding the kingdom and building a great business, you're going to have to fall in love with your customer, okay? So I want to give you basically one step to that is fully understanding your customer avatar. You need to understand a really clear picture of your ideal customer, okay? Ideal customer, not any customer. I mean, if you're smart, you'll take anyone's money, right? We're trying to build a business here. We'll take anyone's money. But within that, there's probably an audience that are a better fit for you. And that's the one we need to, I guess, understand intimately. Firstly, it helps us relate to them. Secondly, it helps us find them. The more we know our customer, the easier they are to find. So I just want to give you a couple of pointers up on the whiteboard here of how to build this customer avatar, right? The first step is the people they follow. You need to start to make a list, right, of the people they follow. You just hang on right there. So what do I mean by that? I mean, everybody has heroes, right, that they appreciate. And we need to start to document them. So let me give an example. Let's say I was a financial planning company. Craig just crawling around all over the set here. Thank you very much. If I was a financial planning company, right, and my customers were high net worth individuals. I'm just picking one for you to kind of put it in context. If I was a financial planning firm for high net worth individuals, who are the kind of people that my customer would aspire to? Okay, that's the kind of question, right? So, Donald Trump, Richard Branson, Mark Burris, whatever. It might be those people. If I was a gardening firm, I'm just trying to pick some random ones that are really real. If I was a garden maintenance business, my customers would be, let's say they were high net worth homes, right? Maybe they're following, Burke's Backyard. I don't know, just picking random people. Don Burke, someone like that, right? So if you sit in the shoes of your ideal customer, what kind of people do they follow and aspire to be like? Who would be their heroes? We've got to get a list of those, right? The second thing we need to do, without repeating what I just did standing on the court, is we need to know brands. What brands do your customers associate with? Okay, so what do I mean by brands? I mean, are they into Mercedes, BMW, and Porsche, or are they into Aldi? Big W, Target. Are they into high-level watch brand? Like, what brands would they associate with? Are they shopping at Target or are they shopping at Country Road? Are they shopping at Country Road? Or are they shopping at Versace? What brands would they be associating with? Okay, is it Hillsong? Is it C3? Is it the Anglican Church? What brands is your ideal customer associating with? All right. The third one is hobbies. What does your ideal customer do for fun? So, golf, sailing, knitting, obviously church could be one. You just got to sit in there and go, okay, thinking about my customer. Because obviously not everyone wants high net worth individuals. Some people are in low socioeconomic business ideas. Great, but you need to understand what kind of hobbies does that person have. Do they go to bingo, right? Whatever. You get to decide, but you need to get your head around the kind of hobbies, what kind of interest does that person have. And then the last but not least is, that's a silly phrase, it's last and least. What sort of associations or organizations would they be interested in? Is there some peak bodies that they would be following? Is there a group that they would want to pay to be a membership for? Is there some sort of rallying group that would pull that type of customer together? See, when we get a real picture on people, brands, hobbies, and associations, a few things. We can communicate better with them when we're in front of them or when we're communicating with them, Facebook ads, Google ads, meetings, whatever. But secondly, that person, once you've built that out, is easier to find on social media to market to than when people say to me, I'll take anyone. Anybody is nobody when it comes to marketing, right? So when you understand the people, here's what I mean. Did you know that you can push your content to people that follow famous people? So you're not pushing this to the famous people. You're saying, whoever follows Donald Trump, I want this message, all right? Maybe that's a bit of a contentious one. I want to push my ad to people that like the Big W page or the Target page or the Audi page or the Woolworths page or the Mercedes. People interested in Mercedes, BMW, and Porsche within 5 kilometers of my office. Bang, you can start pushing an ad. When you understand your customer avatar, your marketing is easier and cheaper. But it starts by falling in love with your customer. All right, let's get another caller onto this show. Do we know who it is? Clinton. Awesome. All right. Is that Clinton?
Yes, it is.
Clinton, it's Wez Hone. You're on Kingdom Business TV.
Hey, Wes, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Going well.
Mate, what's your question? What can I help you with?
Okay, so Wes, I have a plumbing business. We did some maths about a year ago, and we worked out that the rates we were charging were out of date and needed to be increased to cover costs. I'm getting quite a fair bit of work at the new rates that we've put up. We've gone up quite a bit in the last 12 months. Getting a lot of work, but not enough to keep me full-time busy, and definitely not enough for me to put any more employers on. I've got a lot of work available at a lower rate. I'm wondering whether I should be doing the lower rate, which means I'm not paying myself for all the work that I'm doing, just to keep the cash flow coming through.
Smart move.
Or should I be spending the time putting into marketing to get more work at the higher rate?
Okay, cool. What if you were to give me a ballpark percentage, what percentage is currently high, like the good price, right, that you're making good margin on, and what percentage of your work would be low margin? Have you got an idea of a split there of how that currently looks?
Yeah, I would say I've been ruling myself out of the lower margin, so the percentage is not accurate there, but I would say it would be about 40% the higher margin, and the 60% available that I haven't been doing is I'm not doing it because it's not. I've been quoting the higher price, and am not getting it, but I could be getting a lot of work if I was charging the lower price still.
Okay, good. Give me an idea, just so that I can make sure I'm dealing with numbers. What's the price difference between the two, low and high?
Yep, probably about $100, $120 an hour. So we're charging $80 an hour to compete with real estate work and a lot of maintenance contracts. We used to do all the maintenance contracts for some banks and some.
So is it a
like
50% increase between the two numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And we're up around $200 an hour for the more profitable stuff that we need to be charging it. Now, if I have multiple employees, we spread the cost of the overheads down between all the employees, and we could compete on that lower rate. But it's just a transition from 1 to 10 employees.
Yeah. So when you have economies of scale, you'll be able to amortize your overhead. So that's great. But that's not where you are now. So we've got to create a strategy to win. All right. So so here's what I'd be doing. I would never, ever, ever cut my nose off to spite my face, right? I would never say no to lower end work if that's what I need right now. Like I will sell anything at any price to keep the cash coming in, which is what you've been doing, right? I would never just go, I'm worth 120, therefore I'm not doing $80 work. I wouldn't do that because momentum and keeping the wheels in motion is really valuable. So here's what I'd be doing. I'd be kind of segregating if I could, I'd be segregating my workload, right, between 120 work, which is profitable and you know that, and the 80 work. I would take the 80 work and I would use their money to find a better customer, right? So I would take the $80 an hour and I would take as much money out of that 80 as I can to market towards getting more 120s. Now, here's another interesting factor. I'm not interested in business in going from 0 to hero. Here's an interesting dynamic. If they're saying no to 120 and you don't want 80, why don't we go for 100? Why don't we go in the middle, right? Which means you get to make a little bit more money and more people are going to say yes to keep the wheels in motion. Remember, we just might have to take a little bit of time to get to $120 an hour from every customer, right? So if we go from 80 to 90, you're 12% better already. If we go from 90 to 100 right now, we're 25% better in our cash flow, in our profitability or more. So I would never just go, I'm leaving the old price, right? I would market all my new customers at 120 and I would take the money from the old ones, reinvest that in to get new customers and move people up over time. And if I can't get 120, I'll take 100. And if I can't get 100, I'll take 90. And if I can't take 90, I'll take 85. I just want to improve.
Yeah, because I'm trying to target the higher end. We're actually not talking 120, we're talking 200 now. It's 120 difference between the two prices, so 200 now for the profitable stuff that we've worked out with the accountant.
Yep.
If we're targeting the 200 now, I believe there's plenty of work out there if I target the 80 to 100 mark. I haven't been targeting it because it's not where we see that we're going to be profitable. Should I be really targeting that new work? So going out chasing real estate that are happy to pay that. So
if it were me, yes, right? But I wouldn't just do one. So here's, there's a whole theory in business. You got a niche. It's fine and it's true. The problem is you leave too much money on the table if you just pick one. So if you just built a business to high net worth homes, you're leaving billions of dollars on the table, right? If you took the whole of Australia. So I would never do that. I would want to build a business where I service $100 an hour clients, $120 an hour clients, $150 and $200, and I'd have to change my business model to make sure each of those are profitable. So you've just got to find a way to deliver the $80 to $100 an hour customers so that it works for you.
Yep.
So you probably just can't do both of those the same way. You might have to engineer a different way of dealing with the high end and a different way of dealing with the low end. And as long as you build a business model that is able to be profitable for both, I would be scaling both and everything to put my hands around the biggest business I possibly could.
So how do I build a business model that's profitable when we've done our maths of...
You've either got to do it by volume, right? Or you've got to cut out costs. There's no other way to do it. It's either a volume play or a cost play. And that's how we're going to roll it. Clinton, that is a very, very, very good question. I appreciate you calling in and giving up some of your time, and I'll catch up with you soon. So that's our 3 callers. Again, if you've got a question, make sure you post in the comments below. Either just write, I've got a question, or write your question. If it's not sensitive, then you could just put it there. One of my team will catch up with you, and we'll get you on the show, and we'll have some interaction with you, and that will be heaps of fun with me. All right, that is the end of Kingdom Business TV episode 2. Do me a favor, would you please? Would you subscribe to our channel on YouTube? Would you share this show out on Facebook? I want to get this across as many people as I possibly can. It would mean the world to me if you would do that for me. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.